from a shed that's starting to get a bit chilly, to be fair. So this is Kasztelan. That's how you pronounce it, obviously. So it says Duma, Browaru, Sierpc. That's how you pronounce it. And I take it is a lager. Okay, so it looks like it's from Poland. So it's a Polish lager then. Okay. Yeah, so let's drink some Polish. And if I'm wrong, apologies. It's only 5%, so not exactly a big beer. But then again, like I say, I've got work tomorrow, so can't really be hammering big beers. So crystal clear, golden pour. Apologies for the glass. It is just that type of glass. So lots of carbonation going off. A white head on there, and again, there's absolute abundance of carbonation. A rather sweet, nearly at honey aroma from the nose. It smells nice anyway. Cheers. Let's dive in. Taste isn't so sweet as the nose. The nose was quite inviting. Very bite at the front, and that sweetness comes in at the back end on this. So yeah, I got this from Ozan International, a shop in Nottingham on the main A60, the Mansfield Road, opposite the bus station. Yes, got a range of different beers in there, and you were quite lucky where we are, because smack facing, there's another shop that does Polish and all sorts of different Eastern European beers, we'll say, and it's a veritable minefield, or is it a treasure trove? Treasure trove for them sort of beers. So always worth going to local shops, especially these, like East European shops, because you never know what you're going to pick up. You could pick up some. I mean, there's always a chance you're not going to pick up something that you might not like, but there's a good chance you're going to pick up some amazing beers. And if you're like me, newbies, and I'm always good for a newbie. So work tomorrow, and it's that day where you've got to get yourself out of the Christmas mode. Because let's be fair, on the run up to Christmas, you're waiting. You're just ready for time off to reinvigorate, to settle down. For those of us that get Christmas off, obviously. For other people, your time is probably in January when it quietens down. And people in retail, it's all. I mean, it depends what part of retail you're in. It could be as far on as February before you get time to settle, or being on the job you're in. Not good being in the NHS at the moment, obviously. One does beg the question, with a new variant of coronavirus, that obviously the reports from all around the world are this is a less severe version. It's not going to the chest, it's staying around this area, and it's a lot less lethal. Obviously, some people will still sadly pass. It's still scary in that respect. But then again, the same people may well die of a flu, which is scary, isn't it, when you think about it? I mean, you have a really bad cold / flu / man flu, woman flu, and you'd never think that something like that's going to knock you on the head. Or is it the fact that people just give up? It's always a wonder, isn't it? We obviously, none of us know, because none of us have been there, so we don't know. None of us know if there's an afterlife, if there's a heaven, or be it the other. And if there is a heaven, is when you get to a certain stage, when you're ready, does the door open? And then, because my mum, when she was in hospital with cancer, She was frightened. You know, I seen the how frightened she was. She got into hospital, and to be honest, she was in the final care situation with other people, and these people, God, you know, they all looked exactly as you'd expect them to look. You know, severely ill, and she was in there, and then all of a sudden she got better, and then it's like she had some inner peace. She could still not come to the terms where she could speak to her daughter that she gave up 40 years previous. Um, but she had come to that realization, and do you know, it just makes you wonder, doesn't it, whether there's a time where the inner peace comes in, or it's a time where, you know, basically you're told, you know, there's something waiting for you. Could you imagine in the world the people that if they knew that they were moving on to a better place? I mean, I'm talking about the people that aren't took, you know, that aren't killed, murdered, raped, and all that sort of stuff, but people who are, you know, ready. Could you imagine the knowing that they are happy, they're in peace, and they are moving on to another plane of existence? Oof. Obviously, don't know, so kind of kills that question off, really. But this is always in my mind. Yeah, definitely not as sweet as the nose. The nose implied a honey type sweetness to it. The taste, it's sweet, but it's not as, certainly not as clear cut as what the aroma was. Now, if we're going to compare this to, there's a bit of a twang to this, gotta say. There's a slight sweetness, which isn't as nice as the nose, and then there's a bit of a twang to it, albeit still tastes nice than some of the big 4, 5 lagers in the UK. And then it says here, Nigdi ni Jets Po Alcohola. What that means. Yeah, in other words, don't drink and drive. I can see the car keys on the back now where it says it. So, yeah, first ever beer from these. It's nice to have something new. And I did say I was going to shake the channel to its foundations going forward. Back on the home brew, back on not being, you know, just back to being exactly what it used to be, really. And advent calendars, do you take it out of you? And I know, I mean, I did 2 advent calendars for 2 years on the run, and before that a wine, and before that a gin, or was it the other way around? I can't remember which. So yeah, I've done some advent calendars over the year now, so 6 lots of advent calendars, and yeah, it can be a bind to do advent calendars. Although if I had the pennies, I'd probably go out and buy the low cost beer advent calendar, because I think it was, if they're still selling it, it was 45 quid. But you're getting 24 beers. You have no idea what them beers are. So you hope you're getting a good deal. More or less, you probably are anyway. But especially if they put draft beers in them calendars, that'd be interesting. Yeah, 500 ml draft. But yeah, it'd be interesting to do an advent calendar out of season, but one like low cost, where you don't really know what you're getting. In some ways they're the best calendars, because you could do one out of normal season. But going back to advent calendars, yeah, they can be tough to do. You know, it's all right doing a beer review, and you can. And I know some, I used to do it myself. I used to stock the beer reviews up and release them when I felt like it. Now, I'm basically doing the beer review and then posting it straight away. In fact, I'm going live, but unlisted. So in this video now, I'm unlisted. And the only chance you've ever got of seeing it is if you somehow came across an automatic algorithm that pointed to it. You know, there's no actual way. Unless I go back to doing putting this sticker over where the people and the thumb is, and do it that way. I don't know. It's kind of saying that I'm live, but I'm not. So, yeah. Tough one. So, I think once I've been at work a few days, I'll be back in this spirit of things. I'm buzzing because I know I've got so much work to do what I want to do, to turn it around how I want to turn it around before before it starts getting, before spring starts to arrive, which is usually sometime in March. So I've got good 2.5 months to get all the planting that I need to get done, get all the leaves cleaned up. Still a lot of leaves to clean up at work, and I'm still mowing. I know that sounds daft, mowing at this time of the year, but it's more rolling the grass than actual mowing. I'm picking leaves up, so I'm actually not really cutting the grass. I am rolling it, which takes out the slug, the worm casts and that. So golden pour, good carbonation still, little white head. Like I say, I had a good sweet nose on this to start off with. But it wasn't as sweet on the taste for sure, and there was a good twang on there, certainly on the back end. It was all right. Would I drink it again? No, it's certainly not a beer that I'd want to go back to. Not many of these beers are, but then they're not sort of beers I'd see in shops on a regular basis. All said though, I thought it was okay, and for people in Poland, it's one of your beers. What do you think? Anybody who's Polish and lives in the UK, or anybody who's Polish and can speak English, of course. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was a tidy, standard alcohol strength beer. A good 4.1 out of 5. Cheers, everyone. See you soon.